Good morning, my marvellous mind. I'm just going to wait and make sure that I get a notification that says I am live, but I'm pretty sure I am, so I will carry on. Welcome to Thursday's Think Tank Thursdays. The idea behind these is to teach you a really simple tool, and like anything, it may be a bit like too much to begin with. But once you start using this, it becomes a really simple tool that allows you to work out what is going on for you at any given time. And this can relate to anything. And I would encourage you with the Think Tank to not only use it in those times of challenge, but to use it to harness the positives as well. So I want to kind of just drop that in right at the beginning of this session. And maybe as we go along, I can give you some full sessions on examples as to how exactly you can do that. But the Think Tank is essentially a model, a map, if you like, of the pattern that we experience when something happens, or if we are in a phase of life where we notice the repetition of specific emotions or specific situations and experiences. But we can also use it to notice the good stuff, right? We tend to overlook the times that we're happy and give our focus to the times that we are overwhelmed, upset, anxious, stressed, and all of that wonderful stuff. And what I want to do is through the Think Tank is to show you that what we perceive as negative emotions, in the same way as those perceived positive emotions, we can use them as a signal for growth, for positivity, for changing our experiences into something that we would prefer to experience. So use the Think Tank to harness the good in as much as you use it to become aware of maybe the not so good. Now, each week inside the My Marvellous Mind community, and I am saying this out loud even though I'm live in the My Marvellous Mind community, because I will share this to YouTube and going forwards probably some of the other social platforms as well. I am sharing a Q&A thread where everybody who sees this have an opportunity to go, do you know what, I'm stuck on this and I just don't know how to move through it. And I can give my Thursday sessions, which are going to be 10 till 10:30, to giving you an idea as to how you can move through that. And the first step of how you can get past something is to become aware of it in the first place. You know, we are quite often blissfully unaware of the things that bring us down or get in our way. And the Think Tank is a tool that will help you to do that. And like anything else, the more you do it, the more it becomes just a part of your thought process, just a part of how you go through your day. You do something, you notice the signal, you ask yourself the questions, and you find the right answers instead of feeling like you're at the mercy of whatever it is that you're going through. Now, my lovely client Amrit has shared a question in the community, and it's not massively specific. So I'm going to speak to what Amrit has asked, but it might be helpful if I share some of my personal and professional experiences of this situation to give you an idea as to how you can move through this, because I actually think that what Anne-Marie has posted is probably very relevant to most of us, and being one of 5 siblings, I understand this very, very well. So off the back of this session, if you notice that it feels relevant, that what we are discussing resonates, but you want to get specific on how you can apply it to your specific situation, because we're all different, we're surrounded by different people in different environments, and so our experience of those situations might be slightly different. So I'm just going to caveat that with, you know, we tweak this to suit you. So Amrit has said that her question is about rebuilding relationships with siblings with very strong opinions. And before I go through the think tank, I want to hark back to something that I've often talked about, which is the words left unspoken cause destruction. And quite often, you've got 2 sides of the coin here. You've got a situation in which you hold back from sharing what is in your heart because of a fear of judgment or conflict, some kind of repercussion with the other side, right? So that could be siblings, parents, husband, whoever. And then the other side is the opposite, is we explode. And the way that I sort of describe this from an analogy point of view is, if you think about your emotions being a beach ball, right? And in the first instance, actually, our normal default is to just not say anything, right? Let's just keep the peace, let's not say anything. But that in itself creates a void that over time gets bigger and bigger and is harder to bridge in terms of rebuilding relationships, reconnecting communication. So if you imagine your emotions, so that might be your frustration, your sadness, maybe you feel unappreciated. These are all feelings and emotions. Is a beach ball, and we hold them down. It's kind of what we've been conditioned to do. It's like, you know, don't share too much, keep going. You know, so we hold things in, we hold things down. You're holding this beach ball under the waves of life, right? And so this is the next step of the analogy, is the sea is sometimes calm. It's like life is sometimes you just skip through it and everything's lovely and the sun's shining and the kids aren't poorly and everybody's happy. And other times, excuse my French, but the shit hits the fan and the waves are really choppy and it can feel really hard to hold those emotions in. And actually quite often, especially as mums, but generally as human beings, we think that we're doing a pretty good job of holding them in, but actually it seeps out. It seeps out through our energy, through our actions and our behaviours, even if we're trying to hold it in. So you're holding your emotions down, and then you just get to a point where the waves get too choppy. So in the context of family relationships, maybe that choppiness is caused by somebody else's behaviour that just triggers you to just go, do you know what, I've had enough of this, and you explode. So on the one hand, we keep stum, and it creates a void. But on the other hand, we explode, and it creates a void. And so the way to get past that is to look at the situation for what it is. And I always start any talk relating to relationships with others from the foundation of, you cannot change anybody else. If it's somebody else who is upsetting you, the only thing that you can do is to change yourself, change the way that you are looking at and reacting to that situation or that person. It's really important that you start from that, because anything else just isn't reality. Now, that's the sad fact. You can't change the people that are upsetting you. However, by observing yourself, by looking at your experience of it, which is what I will take you through in a minute, what you can do is influence the reaction and the behaviour of others. Because the reality is if we're in conflict with others, or indeed if we're just not talking to them, it's very difficult to influence that situation. And in fact, the influence tends to be a negative compound effect. It becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy of whatever judgment you feel you're experiencing at the moment. So as I say, I don't know the specifics, and Anne-Marie, I might ping you a message just to, if anybody needs more info, not to share all of the details for Anne-Marie, but in terms of what has sparked it and what the reality of the situation is. Because that is the first thing that we have to do, is we start with what we're noticing. So in Anne-Marie's case, I'm noticing that I feel like I've been distanced, maybe. If you're wanting to rebuild your relationships with siblings that have strong opinions, then there may be a void in your connection with them. So that might be what you're noticing. Do you know what? I'm noticing that I'm just not picking up the phone to speak to my sister, my brother. I'm noticing that whenever we speak, I'm not actually saying everything that I want to say. You might be noticing that it might be the emotion, right? The emotion of anxiety ahead of a family get-together, or the stress following a family get-together, or when you're in it. So we've always got to start with what we're noticing, but then I want you to link it to the situation. So the situation has to be factual. The situation is someone has specifically said these words. Can't be your interpretation of what they've said. It has to be the specific words. So I don't agree with what you're doing. That is a fact. They might have said those words. We're not looking for that to be your interpretation of something else that they have inferred, right? It's really important. So the situation might be a specific event that has happened within your family, a specific factual conversation within your family. And for the sake of simplicity, I will just put family event. And then Anne-Marie, if you would like me to elaborate on this, then please just ping me a message with more info. So if this is the factual situation that you find yourself in, and I'm gonna have to make assumptions, Anne-Marie, on what you're feeling right now. And I suspect that might be frustration. It might be sadness. It might be anything that doesn't really feel very good when you feel like you're not speaking to people that you love. And the key thing here, which is a missing piece of the puzzle for me, as we go through these Thursday think tanks, I might prompt you to actually try and fill this out, and then I can talk you through it, because then I get, how are you behaving, Anne-Marie, in this situation? So let me give you a for instance, which relates to everything that I've just said. So if you are looking to rebuild relationships, what does that look like, and what does the flip side look like at the moment? So it might be that your actions are to not call or check in, to not invite them to I don't know, your kid's birthday or something like that. There is an action that comes off the back of the frustration that we feel that is related to the family situation or event. I hope you're keeping up with me. And the key thing here is the result, because there's a reason why this has been posted today. There's a reason why you want to rebuild. Maybe your result is you feel alienated. I have to think about how I'm spelling things on this. Alienated from siblings. Okay. But this is where the self-fulfilling prophecy comes in. You've got whatever it is, the factual situation that's going on in the family, and what links these two together, as I highlighted last week, is the thought that comes in between what you are, the situation that you're in or experiencing, and the emotion that you're noticing. And the thought in this case might be, and I'm just going to pick something off the top of my head. Anne-Marie, feel free in the comments of this video to say that's not quite right, this is what I'm thinking, and I'll happily do another video. But this is a really common one. They don't approve of me. Yeah. If they have strong opinions, maybe they don't approve of you, or maybe they don't agree. Maybe the thought is they don't agree with my point of view. You know, this could be about someone else in your family, your parents maybe. I know that myself and my siblings have quite different lenses, and I use that word very intentionally, that we look through to see what's best. What's best, like we know what's best for our parents as they become older. So just take a look at that pattern. You've got the situation, the thinking about it is, they don't approve of me. The emotion is frustration, like I can't speak to these people. So you don't call, you don't connect, and you ultimately feel alienated from your siblings. So what do you do about it? Well, you can't change something that's happened, that's real. The way that you're feeling rests upon what you're thinking about that situation. Your actions and behaviours rest upon how you're feeling about that situation and your overall experience of it becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't approve of me and now I feel alienated from my siblings. Can you see that if we rely on others to change the way that they're viewing a situation for them to get in touch with us, we will be waiting for a long time. The only way that we can do it is not to go, oh, okay, I agree with you, I can see your point of view, but more to say, okay, is it true, whatever it is in this thought process, is it true that they don't approve of me? Is there another way of looking at this? And this is something that I want you to hear, and it's something that makes everybody very uncomfortable, including me when I do this on myself. There is something called the turnaround. When you look at the thoughts that we are having about someone else, relates especially to judgment of others or feeling judged by others, is to go, okay, who's not approving of who? So when somebody says to me, and I'll just read Amrit's post again, rebuilding relationships with siblings with very strong opinions. So they have strong opinions, but does that mean that you also have strong opinions? One of the lenses that I encourage everybody to look through when you are experiencing conflict of any sort is compassion. Compassion for the fact that we are all completely unique and individual human beings with different perspectives on life and how it should be. But we get stuck in seeing things our way and believing that that is the highway, and it isn't. Doesn't mean to say you have to change your beliefs, but you have to be open to other possibilities, and whether being so closed on your own way of thinking, is that bringing you peace? It's one of the other questions that I bring into play with the think tank is, does this thought bring you peace? Is it true? And if it doesn't bring you peace and it isn't true, what would bring you peace? So in this situation, I'm looking for my rubber, let me just take that away, because we want to shift this whole experience. We want to shift this whole experience from they don't approve of me, maybe they have their opinion. And let me add to that, they have their opinion and that's their business. That's their business. So the situation hasn't changed. The thought relating to it, you can choose consciously a different way of looking at things that will lead to, are you still going to be as frustrated or as upset? If the thought becomes, they've got their opinion, that's their business, and I have my opinion, and that's my business. Maybe frustration might open up to calm. Trying to think, probably not love, I mean, although love will be there, but how about appreciation? And excuse my terrible writing. But if you're feeling calmer, if you're not feeling frustrated, if you're not really fed up by the way other people are behaving, are you as likely to break that connection in the first place, or to maintain that disconnection, the void in your relationships? Would you be more inclined to pick up the phone? To maybe even have a conversation where you say, do you know what, I get where you're coming from, I understand that that's your opinion, but this is mine. It makes me think of that quote that I bang on about all the time, which is, courage is to share the story of your whole heart, of who you are with your whole heart. I always cock it up. And that just means that you don't hold back. If you've got something to say, you say it, because you're saying it in the knowledge that you know who you are, you know what's important to you. And you also, hopefully, going through this, can see that, you know, other people will have their own and maybe quite strong opinions. And it's up to us what we make that mean to us. So let me just shift to not call, to maybe even have a conversation. Does that make sense? And if you are having a conversation, are you going to feel alienated? Or might you feel your experience of this situation, and we're always looking to get a positive compound effect, might be to just be me. And let me put a smiley face because you need to be happy with that. I hope that makes sense. This becomes, we can't change other people, but we can influence them by changing the way that we respond and react and the energy with which we do it. I feel like there was something else I was going to say on this. What else was I going to say? It's gone. It'll come back to me in a minute. But I know Anne-Marie couldn't join today, and I hope that this helps. So let me just bring it back round to Anne-Marie's question. How can I rebuild relationships with siblings with very strong opinions? By noticing how you respond through the process of not rebuilding. What is it that holds you back? Look at the pattern. Look at the way that you're thinking. It's not to change your beliefs to align with theirs. It's to find peace with the fact that we have different beliefs, that we have different opinions. And through that, you might not, we're not always going to be like that with the people that we love. You can still love them and have different opinions. And it just means that you maintain that connection. Wherever you feel a void growing in a relationship, the invitation is to ask yourself, what am I not sharing? What am I not saying? And why? And it's often down to an assumption or a judgment that we're making about how someone else is thinking. And my question often comes back to, who's judging who? Who is it that has the strongest opinion in this situation? And do it, I've got a smile on my face because we make it all about the other people. And actually, the very fact that we're saying they've got strong opinions tells me that you have one too. And there is a peace to be found in that. I hope you found this helpful. I'm really hoping that this is working. I can see that Claire is on. Hello, Claire. I'm always nervous that the sound isn't working, but nobody said anything. So fingers crossed, because it's been a long one. I will catch you next Thursday, and let me know of anything else that you want me to talk about. See you later.